And this is the area which, as a team here, as we'll be interacting, I'll be also happy to hear, to learn, even from government, kuti design ya mining ya tuyaka ilegera pakali panopa. Tinai in touch. We started this Indaba some 15 years ago. Locally, nationally, internationally. The Karonga got access to information. Kodi ma contract mkwa business kwa jani. Kodi mulijani mu contract. Kodi ma contract ya wawa. Dia kwa zungu kapenda kunoku banji we are not accessing. We've talked, but if duty bearers, information holders are here, I just wanted this time around, let us be moving, shifting the goalpost from accessing the information, what next, to what I may call community participation. I wanted to put meaningful, we are not yet there. Real participation, we are not yet there. Maybe I would have used cosmetic participation. What is this all about in terms of where are we getting access to information? And if we have to a certain level gotten this information, do we have some instruments that set the pillars, the framework to say this is our information? Do we have anywhere where we can make reference on? The general overview of our sector, when you look at Malawi's mining sector, it holds significant potential for economic growth with consideration to emerging discoveries where recent exploration efforts continue to uncover new deposits, attracting international interest. Kumalawi recently tamvakuti kukasia kulija Luntha yeremene jamuwaro di nambacha Kangankunde kubalaga kulija Kangankunde kubalaga kulija There, graphite, and that's the best in Africa. They call that as the sleeping giant of Africa. But the task that we are told recently, Kairegera, Gutukurimabilio Nagat, uranium. Hello? Kurimabilio Nagat? Bwana Mbeya is there. Next time, kuti tiyambe kukuya zeni tizambe kuti kulimatana ngati kumene kunja. And pakali panopa kwa saramatana ngati. Do we have a rep from Kairegera here? We wanted to hear from their side as well. Anyone from Kairegera mtuuze kuzona? When the Kairegera amasegulira president, Paramount Kiungwa na nena hapo kunena kuda mwatushovaga kuti mitengo iwile ku Japan. Who was there? Who listened to this? Yes, Bwana ADC chair. Ananena mwatushovaga kuti mwati mitengo iwile ku Japan nnogo ya Hiroshima. Is this real? As we are sitting here on issues of mining, you can't even tell what is happening to Seruko. How I wish this forum today, we also had some rep from Kairegera, even from all the information from the ministry. Government identified this sector in the Malawi 2063 as a game changer, ATM strategy as we all know. The sector operates within the complex socio-economic landscape marked by high poverty levels, limited infrastructure, limited skills, limited energy sources, limited awareness. The sector has also both formal, this is just the overview, formal and the informal. Currently we have, I hope we have rep from Ngara here, Ngara Technical, our own Ngara, is in teaching us SM perfect with the state of the art equipment. I hope tomorrow, Madam Moderator, we are visiting Ngara. The sector too has large-scale mining activities, medium, artisanal, small-scale mining. That's where, at the end of the day, when we talk of Kairegera, Kairegera falls within the medium. Is it the medium or large? Huh? Thank you. What is the capital investment for any large-scale mining in Malawi? Kuti company mene aichule kuti ndi large scale iyi enda ukati capital ndama ziga kupanga invest Vincent. So any large-scale mining in Malawi, according to the law, that company at the end of the akamamanga investment yawo ikale ni drama zosa chepera 250 million US dollars. Company mene yo kumalawi ngapeseke? Hello? Malamulo wawo amapanga zatu hako Australia ngapenda atu. Anapanga kunja? Mines and Minerals Act amene timasanga ku parliament ndi kunja? So that's where the drama starts again. Malamulo anapeleka chipinjo kuti kumalawi kusakhale large scale mining investor. Nyimbo ikale yoti, can we bring the local content, local participation? But even the local participation, when you bring on the table, is also to order. The mining value chain looks, when you talk of mining, you are not only thinking about exploration. It is the entire. So whatever we are talking about, if Malawi is not going to lose, we should as much as possible to up our game in terms of from the way they go. Licensing, when they are issuing license for exploration. Exploration itself, the actual development, what I can go the manager. Makampani ka infrastructure zijamabeleza kuti azapange process mining. Kodi zimenezi zikamachoka kunja kumakhala makampani yanje akunja ako. Maybe company yomweyo sister wa Paladin yomwe ili kunja mitengo ya zinthu zimene zozo. Akumaziunika ndani kuti mitengo imene yoyo ndiyeni ndiyoona. Are we together? Hello? Mining we don't talk that hard here. Tima pitako nditi. Kumaka bohora peda eti. So when you talk about mining, always you don't talk to beloved, eh? Ungatemwekanga vivi ai. Hallelujah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
So it's So when you look at these processes, extraction, processing, reclamation, as well as the closure, Bwana Kumbo was just sharing recently, anything to do with environment, any mining, as a current dani wajani, why environment? Kilimoze? And this is the area which, as a team here, as we'll be interacting, I'll be also happy to hear, to learn, even from government, kuti design ya mining ya tuyaka ilegera pakali panopa. Tinaisinta, chifukwa choti kalero, anaipanga in it's an open pit. Deti natengera ma international standard. Pama open pit panali mafie zosiyana siyana. Materials ya wao wako zokhala 99 years. Makansa diseases. Kodi panopa pameta pita chisogolo. What about the closure plan which is there in terms of reclaiming the very same land? And mining is not agriculture as we all know. Para vachitapo vajimapo, vantu varute vakazengepo, antu vapita akamengepo, akayambeso kulima. What is it that we are doing different this time around? Most of the mining activities are being implemented in rural Malawi, where majority, as already indicated, rural communities are currently bearing the most environmental, social, etc. Pamene ikuchitika migodi hii, ngati information sikubwera kwa anthu to stand and say enough is enough. Nde kuti kumudzi ukuku, kubenge kuti wakadere mbweti pambanenge waka. But at the same time, all this happens within our legal context. Number one is the constitution of our republic, which is the supreme law of the land. At the same time, it's backed by a number of acts of parliament. Tilindila mlolani kuru, there is a party malamlotati tingono, ditima supporting subsidiary laws, regulations, as well as policy guidelines. Kodi ma program tikagamba zoti tifuna tivange verse in the mining. If this is to be a game changer, nima programs where are we getting the mandate? So these are policy documents. Malawi Constitution, that's the section, provide issues of access to information. But at the same time, to make this more applicable Parliament inapanga pass access to information, it's stored for some time. Was it asserted in 2017 or 2020 by Peter Mtaliko Chakwera? I need to cross-check on that one. But at the same time, operationalization of the same took a lot of time, years, until the Chakwera-led government. ATI, which is Access to Information Act, sets out procedure on how citizens and stakeholders can also request the same information from information holders. Kaya maripoti, antu ayenera kuwapanga access more time. Mukafuna ndondomeko imene yoyo ilipo, and information imene yoyo iyenera kuti tizikhala naye. On the other hand, the Mines and Minerals Act too does not explicitly create a broad right in terms of access to information. I have cited a section there, section 41, but before section 41, even though there are mechanisms in place for disclosure and transparency, which Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative, EITI, we have visit, tilidi vuto yoti lamulo lopanga za migodi, lokuza za migodi, Mines and Minerals Act amended version ya 2023. Yukukamba kuti section 41, subsection 5. Yukupeleka chipinjo, unless stated otherwise, license holder without yese, akoza kukhala ndi license yake ija, report information in the data, asaulule kwa without yese, as long as license ija ikadali active for 2 years. Are we together? Hello? What wanajara wa Christopher? Seems I'm talking to myself. Are we together? Yes. Daniela Gudijani, section imene. If we are together, yes, we are yes on what? Ine nikakonda ukhala ku flanti, for the uje kuti ukakhala ku flanti, aphunzitsa mandizemba, makafusa wina ku bag. So here's another teacher. 30 years, assalamu alaikum, Daniela Gudijani. Hey. Yes. Wabi bawa ujani matinda? Ndiambi ya supporter? Neba. Ndani ila kuti jani supporter hii.
Manena zodi muntu akakhala una zodi watenga license, it should be confidential for motor fuels.
Uyuyu anaziamba kuzisana kale ndikali sahihi. So chipinjo cha lamulo la Mines and Minerals Act, section imene takhala tukufunsa, even access to information ili ndi inapitaso step further, abana usi alimo munapita inapangaso class. Okay, chair Fonyika bwana Zodiac or bwana Jordan, with access to information, paliso information hii inaimba kaso classified yoti sapeleka wamba access to information act ina nenaso information got cabinet ya kumana. One cannot just wake up kuti tufuna makabinet minutes here. Information yokuza ndi chitetezo cha ziko security data. Sungazuke kuti ya industrial procedure mdipase security maminisi anu onse amene vamukuwombera kwa wakati. Then pali information ina yomwe yi makhala nditu iyi ai. But actually Jordan is in there in the DNA and the entire. But we are talking about reports. We are talking about data and information. Yoti company kamachoka kwao zimakhala pa mbandambanda. Koma kwathu kunoku malamulo opanga ife tomwe ya Malawi tukanena kuti company iyi ngakhala ili ndi license yake. License ikakhala kuti ili active. Pakhala ndi confidential ka secret paka 2 years company ija yiyalule iseke grocery yake ikapita 2 years pamene izapanga disclose kwa Malawi. Are we serious? Hallelujah. Are we serious? At the same time, we have EMA environmental, which my brother has already talked about, including the ASIA, which includes more our interests on the FPIC, that's free, prior, and informed consent. Kaku mapeto kajaka, wana mbeya, wana inabino ditu. Vinny's is always preaches about that, even Robert. FPIC, free, prior, and informed, simple. Pamzilwan. Mugodi usanafike. Mwapika wakamanongonongo, tell them, hold on. Hold on, pitani bwererani. kaya kanena kuti kubwera ntchito, whatever, tell them go back. Do your meaningful consultation. Kumuzi tili ndi ana athu ena the diaspora. Talk to them. There is this story. You are not in a hurry. Kamuzi ananena kuti chuma chili munthaka. Koma chuma chimene, even pamene takhala papa, mukapeza kuti pali uranium osayamba. So FPIC is very key, as included in the EMA, but at the same time with the ASIA. This is a very important tool. It empowers you to say, wait a minute, come back. Agabera, Pelican, as you be submitting whatever you want to input, but you put in writing. Kaya simu kufuda say no. That's what FPIC. But at the same time, when you are saying no, you should have very good reasons, because Malawi, we are faced up with a very complicated developmental question. Should we stop mining or not? Being a game changer. Case study which I just wanted to share a little bit about the Kairekera where community participation, which was not the order of the day when this started. Karonga is a home of Kairekera mine. Historically, it was operated under Paladin Energy, whether Paladin Africa, whether Paladin Australia. The name asked me tomorrow, could you go to that Paladin manager? As number one. Paladin Africa, man. United Paladin Osat Energy, Paladin Energy, Australia, and so you United Paladin, could that be a Paladin Australia? Did I became? Tirukuyanam. Paladin Energy Kukabavi. What do you say? Waimanya. Currently, it's being operated, it's being manned by Lotus. Lotus, yeah? So Lotus and Paladin, they are different, eh? Hello? I don't want to go in detail. It is up to us as we be working on this Indaba. From information to real stuff. I just want to encourage you to be more than braver in terms of when you want to question. My brother Nyondo here is better place and all of us. We invite Paladin, Lotus, management tools and what they have. Mulipa udumbu na ila ikautanga panyamuli pamweka. Panyaki ima mliwaka wanyunyu. The 2005, in terms of accessing to the same information to 2020. 2005, this is the time Christo Bero and Banoje, they are pretty aware. This is the time when John Bosch of that time, on 6 May in the Melbourne newspaper, he went flat out. Australia and Canada were becoming so strict in terms of environmental issues. We are heading to Africa because Africa there's a weak governance zone. At that time, there were so many companies, including Rio Tinto, while Paladin was flying to Malawi here. Rio Tinto, they were in the western side, exploiting. How did they reach here? Para muntu mrendo, angiza pa nyumba, kuzakafika pa nyumba pako makola na kukunjira kuchipinda. Ama kala ndi intero, eh? Culturally, anyway, whether you don't believe in it or not, culturally, isi kuti pakuyoya kuti para muhawi waliko para kumbakoma wawepo na wapa chibari wakukumanya iwe namwe mugomezi. So when Paladin was coming here, they had to use our own sons and daughters of the soil to anipaki kuti kumalawi kuna malamulo itu ni akamuzubanda galakimbanga on the priamba kanenanga utifishi zose zakamuzu kuku zose ng'ombe zose. Can you proceed? So by that time, Paladin just know kuti komwe tikoza kupita kukangoenda mosavuta nkumalawi chifukwa da kuyuza malamulo akale. The fight started from there. So 05, that time the leader of opposition was John J.Z. Tembo. We flagged these issues some 20 years ago. To make sure that Malawi, can we put our house in order? Can we have all the information that is needed if this government is to say Paladin ibwere? What is historically experience here with mining and apangako kuti dikuti? Awawa kuti divayani. What agapanga benefit ya Malawi kalabotani? kayerekera uranium safa akamanyamula law yanku Malawi zakhala motani akasunga kutiko. That was like wow. I think all of us we tried to do our part, but I think that time politicians never wanted to listen. If you are there, you are listening today, what is it that politicians are saying? You are like, hallelujah. From where we are coming from, the 2005, it was very difficult. As I indicated, information and telling the power the truth was a taboo. Grave secrecy were deep-rooted, particularly on a number of issues, including the actual awarding of the very same contract. Whoever negotiated, how much was, I'm talking about the mining development agreement now between the government of Malawi and the Australian company, which was signed in 2007. Nobody saw the document. Paka Paladin 012 itateka, Yikupita, Kenako Honorable Mpingajira was Minister of Information that time. Arafusidwa, Panapa 12 February. They said they don't have the information. Yet he was the Minister of Information. And those who were working with Paladin, I think they can agree with me. Amaziwa siku lomwero kuti mabasi aikama destination board. Luntha yalowe uku, alilongwe alowe uku, amzuzu alowe uku, amsankazi wachope chikuchitika. Njirani ngati matumba mapita. This is where Malawi, even if ataona kuti zinthu zoyipa, amata kusinja kuti you see blue command red. Why not? That is blue. Matters of principles. The very same period, in terms of the secrecy, there were a number of issues. A research was done in 2016-17, which revealed in on issues of mining governance that really there was limited resources of information. And most of the times when people were interviewed, limited information, in different mining communities, people were very open. How do we access information if you have ever accessed before? And from then I did to DI. My NGOs, they are the best. Could pass information. This is what people are saying. Government at our government, vanyawo chomene ni of God. But even mama bunge namanya kuzinadi mukutipusika. So this is the time when as NGOs we also missed the out of court settlement. You remember? Paladin was taken to court. And from there, handing him court to better mabungwe tambakuona vopambano. Tikambilane waka, he vantu ambawemi, he tikamanyanga yai. Wairo kuvantu kura mapharanga kuti anthu awawa sana sate chani? So people said, kuti namweso mabungo, namweso are the betrayers. Hallelujah. But at the same time, the study went further. Okay, what would be your preferred source of information? They said, bring community radios. People, they prefer, Tutuke is not a community radio. People, they opted for community radios. National radios that talks their language. The Tutuke, of course, by that time, 2017. Cool. So people opted for Jani as a preferred source. That was captured from some of the key informants. The same study went further in terms of how, if you are to participate meaningfully, the model. The community development agreement, which is mentioned in our law today, started long time back. If I had time, I would have said, can you open the page, my chair, Edgar, just to read the recommendation. So people recommended these things in 2016, thereabout. They even went to state about the percentage, but that was not captured. So they opted for the community development, the local businesses, through the FP as part of the initiative that needed to be included. 2022 on fast tracking because of time, 2022 to 2025. Present, it has presented a significant this scenario. The case for community participation and benefit sharing through community development agreement mechanism, kuti komwe tikuchoka ngati anthu samatengapo mbali sankakhala ndi information how best can the Western people now move forward in terms of participating. The experience, this is the time when CDA was even included in our Mines and Minerals Act. The experience highlighted both the potential and the pitfalls of the large and small-scale mining in developing consultations. But at the same time, in Karonga, there were some early consultations which were initiated where people expressed their willingness to understand, particularly including the vulnerable groups, using the inclusivity approach where they also shared their understanding. But at the same time, CDA was also established to make sure that really people are benefited. However, the transparency and effectiveness of the funds or the fund is yet to be seen, because Zana Mena Mapanga launch in a greater president. Ana nena kuti hii ndijani, yambika production as in George. Kwa matika werenga la mulo la Mines and Minerals Act, where it talks about CDA, section 164. Ikugamba kuti bwana Mbeya ativomereza. Ikugamba kuti community izayamba kupanga benefit ngati kukayerekera kwa yamba commercial production. That's the same question. Not many apangira president will the community has qualified community yamba kuwela inga. I think that's the question this Indaba must address. Because what you are told is production ikuyamba. Kuyamba production, kuyamba commercial production, ndizofanana. Bwana Mbeya. I'm not talking about petitions. Tukuona kuti tikhoza kulemba kena kake kuboma kuifunsa kuti kodi tili pati. Koda president anapanga launch commercial production kapena production. Ikhoza kala production panga 3 years akuti tupanga chani? We are not in commercial. I wanted to sit it down, madam. But there's a panel. Yeah. So far, what has changed? You just need to be objective. Chiambireni 2005. Ananena Mbeya mukoza kukambira na 2 days zintu zizosata. Komando tukunena kuti paliso zabwino. Mutu sunga kale kuti uzingoona chabe zoyipa kukazo. Ayi. Not zoyipa. Komando tufuna kuti zita sintha. So far what has changed from the beginning when Paladin was coming to Africa here. That time it was a taboo during the Bingos period to talk about mining, to talk about God to talk of we are not going to benefit from the high level today. We have held the president denouncing about artisanal and small-scale mining licenses, the procedure. Tilimoze, simna vepo president kuti ukuku ndekuli corruption. Ndine ngati ndikunama. Kuti ma license wawa mapeleka even kwa, is it bad to peleka license kwa mwenye? I'm not trying to be racist. Is it bad? Komano sehemu hii yomwe musowoya wakusambiza kungara. Mbweti tole kuti mchina waruti wakakhale mkalasi la kungara wakasambirenge baesemu ukunatuma kwa mwana wane ine kuti wasambire sehemu nditula kusiamalibe ma license wawa president ananena kuti golide watu akumera mapiko akupita kuchi akupita kunja United Arab Emirates by Malawians ali ndi ma license mukapeza kuti bwana Mbeya ndi ma just I'm not referring to this. Koma mukapeza kuti director when ku Capitol Hill ndi ma license 3 4 5 10 wakulira masuku munthu wakusuzika nkhu kwenenso munthu wakukaya akutola license chifukwa choti afuna kuti akhale close to mchina asintha zina kuti nayenso akhala mchina. Uyu mchina uyu ndi mwini wa license while iweyo watenga license ndoti kukonda dziko lathu Amalawi utambwani nafe tunapita nao patani. From treating corruption in those days, corruption was part of the strategy. You cannot talk about corruption in the mining sector. That word in this sector doesn't exist. Sorry, but that has been my stand. Iwowo akamapanga muntu kuti pwa nde muyambe kumenyana ni too. For them it's a strategy. As long as penalty wachini. So it was again like part of the strategy. From treating corruption as a strategy, but we have seen during the period, SCB have jumped line against those officers, Vincent, Bonambeya, and all of us, I think, Yakuilomba. So the powerfulness of information, EITI inatipasa mpamvu, zoti tiurure tiziurure tikapita kumuzi, the same true. Boma ikuti EITI is good. And we've been championing on the same EITI. That inapita kumuzi, that magafu sana. Inuyo makala kuno zaka 25. Ngati mumapanga malosi, chifukwa cha msimu kupita kwani. Ndipo nthawi yonseyi mwakhala mukukhala kunoku mukunena kuti iyayi tibwerereni kunoku license izizi tinagwirizana ndi kwa ena machina mlibobo, not knowing kuti cartel inali ya munthu womwe ndi very senior ali mboma ndepana chema gigi the EITI mabungu yakangonena kuti tikutuluka. I think bwana vini maybe anagamba hapo the EITI chathera pati we stood and this officer anagwidwa. SCB is another issue. Mwina iseguleka ya office ya Karonga. So we can at least see somehow kuyenda hapo no matter na also to a great extent they sometimes, for the lack of a better word, I think they do sleep on their job. From CSO-led governance, Karelo. From CSO governance, timatenga ifeo ngati mabungwe ngeti mashasha ma champion tekateka basi mako kamba akupanga interview woneke pachitete maoneka ngati shasha. Komano iyi tinachosa inachokapo panopa. There's what we are calling multi stakeholders group. Mabungwe amabwera hapa, makampani amigodi amabwera hapa, aboma ndi board ya to fall at national level. So we can tease crack issues of corruption at that level. From 1981 Mines and Minerals Act to 2023, I think we have moved. We can smile, because the new law, at least we can even smile, we can tap. There are issues of the community engagement, which maybe Vin might have shared earlier on. There are issues of local business opportunities that have come out very clear. There are issues to do with the Community Development Agreement, Section 164. Though, in terms of background, the way men and I pangira twists, atwaja Satan and hopanga za malamulo sometimes. Lamulo likukamba kuti at least 0.5% minimum. Community steering can start negotiating. Komano CDA mena na ilembera na what it is noted in this agreement that 0.45% is pelekeda kwa watu. Akalemba kuti at least mumakhala ndi room to negotiate. Koma ukalemba CDA ango chosa kwa at least two. Not even 1%. Yet the role to come as what I am a production, not commercial. We can even talk about from taboo issue to a game changer mining. CSR used to be voluntary. I've just cited the Kairekera to the community development arrangement, which is obligatory. But at the same time, from mining for consumption to mining as development, these are some of the positive changes where we can hear from the high level. But at the same time, from local as spectators to active citizenship, we have seen Kuhara people demonstrate AI, bravo, I think you took a very solid stand. From non-institutional reforms to authorities like we have MRA, mining and mineral, is it authority? Regulatory authority is MMRA. Okay. And the Mamiko, which is Malawi Mining Investment Company, from individualizing to inclusivity, case in a point, first Kairekera minus CDA, it was only for Karonga. Today we can see the whole Copa, according to the radius. Chitipa is also part of the same. from non-disclosure of contracts to somehow a little bit of a disclosure. The current MD, I think, had some challenges. Government never wanted to do that. We had these discussions, we got the contract, the MDA from the same. From divide and rule, at least today, to a unit of purpose. I haven't seen a chief where telling civil society, Kagwadani, Mwatijumpa, whatever. What we're getting now, the chiefs, they're able to even come on the table and speak the same voice. Lessons probably I think will be able to move, but just one lesson. On matters of principle, can you finish? Huh? On matters of principle, have you seen Elephant Rock? Awarikuyonamu mpepo ingaputa chila chingenda cheuta mtumbikeni yeo chome.
Good afternoon. Yeah, thanks very much. Ulemu kwa mafumu tili muno. Ulemu kwa timu yose ya EAM. Achito za boma. Makomiti osiana atolankani. Ndi tose my presentation yayineikhala freestyle sinalembe mu dongosolo lina lililonse, but I hope I will deliver what is required kuti ndipange share ndi this meeting. Yeah, tikufuna tikambirane za accountability in terms of environment and social welfare yama communities kumene kukuchitika ma mining activities. And my presentation, half of it, Zambia has been covered in the presentation ya Vincent Winga, because it's more linked in the maufulu andu. If the environment ikuonongeka, it means ufulu wawina wake wasokonekera. So part of what Vin was presenting ndizomwe zili mu environmental and social accountability presentation. So pali magawo awiri ndi mene subject yathu ilili tukamba za environment komanso chani social welfare. Environment ndi chilengedwe, social mene anthu timakhalira, nkhani za umoyo, nkhani za security, nkhani za miyambo yathu kacha mene timakhalira isasokonezeke chifukwa cha ntchito za migodi. Amene akupanga za mining, they should make sure kuti they respect our culture, they respect our health, azionesesa kuti asasokoneze maphunziro. That's social welfare. So mwina ndiyamba ndi kuti ma provisions opanga safeguard environment and social welfare zimachokera kuti. Zimenezi zili malamulo. We have Environmental Management Act ya 2017 imene imanena kuti any business isanachitike pakhale ndondomeko, pakhale plan yonesesa kuti sikasokoneza environment komanso sikasokoneza chikhalidwe cha anthu. So yena ukhala ndi environment and social management plan. Plani yonesesa kuti sikaononga chilengedwe, sikasokoneza mene anthu akukhalira. Any business, and mining is also a business. Apart from that, malamulo azamigo, the Mines and Mineral Resource Act, na also amalemba kuti any mine isanakhazikitsidwe, they need to have a plan, imene tikuti environmental and social management plan. So my principles or my cornerstone a plan imene or aku environment ali motere olo nkhani za kusamalira chilengedwe kapena umoyo wanu. We have enamati 3 enamati 4 cornerstones. Choyambirira, make sure kuti business yanu isaononge, that is to prevent. Ngati kuli kotheka tipange prevent destruction ya environment or disturbance to the welfare. Ngati zakanika kupangala to prevent, tionesese kuti damage imene ingachitikeyo ikhale yocheperapo. Ndiyerekeze tukamba za mining, munthu abwera ndi project ya mining afuna asegule mgodi, koma location ya koma kukakhale mine mwina ikukwera mu forest. So we are saying ngataka pange activities ake a mining mu forest imene mwagwera location yake, aonesese kuti ngati kuli kuchosa mitengo achose yochepa imene ingakhale direct pamene pakachitike ntchito za mining. So the first thing is to prevent. Ngati zavuta, you minimize the damage. Ngati zavutilatu, pezani njira ina yoti mupange recover pakakhala kuti damage yo yachitika. Ngati mudule mitengo, have a plan kuti muzadzalirepo. So the last resort is kupanga rehabilitate damage imene ingachitika. So kumbali ya chilengedwe ndi chambiri. 1, pali mitengo imene ndatchula kale, vegetation. 2, pali mazi, ma water bodies. 3, pali zinyama zakutchire, that is wildlife. Zonsezo zili mugulu la chilengedwe. Even though anthuso ndi chilengedwe, koma we will discuss them separately. That's why tukamba za social welfare. Social welfare is focusing solely on human being. But the other forms of nature, zimene ndatchulazo, mazi, mphepo, which is mpweya, vegetation, and others. So when we have mining activities in our community, the first thing is we have to make sure kuti sizi kupanga damage pama water resource amene tili nawo. Monga anaonesera zituzi Vincent, we can see kuti some of the mines in our district akupanga impact pama natural water bodies, which is not the situation we need to have. Similarly, bwana Malilino hapa makambaso za sand miners. In the recent years, takhala ndi kukumana ndi pressure from construction industries. Pali lamulo la boma pano pali kunena kuti tikamamanga ma structures tizigwisa ntchito chani ma cement block, and all government structures panopa when constructing they use ma cement block. It means pressure per sand ndi ambiri, up to the point kuti kunyanja zathuzi some of the contractors akumapanga they are willing even kuti akatenge mchenga umene uli along the shore, but lamulo likunena kuti 100 meters from the water bodies kupita ku mtunda ndi chani malo a boma. It's a government, it's a public land. And again lamulo la tourism sili malo la kuti tikatenge mchenga pa beach because it's a recreational facility, it's a public land, it belongs to all Malawians. But you find the sand mining is now pushing more demand or more pressure on sand along the water bodies. Apart from that, Nakamba air is also part of the environment or natural resource. It's also another entity. My mining or my mines should not compromise its quality, because aliese muntu kuri currently more, it means they have to breathe. Even vegetation needs to have clean air kuti ipange survive. But if you go around in most of the mines, the situation is all that good. So that's why nanena kuti every business amanena kuti currently plan yosamalira zachilengedwe. So ikakhala kuti akuchosa mitengo, plan iyenera kuti ionese apange assess kuti azachosa mitengo ingati akamapanga ma activities awo. Akapanga assess, let's say mina azachosa mitengo 200, it means that work forest they do my calculations and my plans kuti akachosa mitengo 200 iwenera kubwezeresa ndingati. So the plan has to indicate kuti akachosa mitengo 200 azabwezeresa ingati pa period yotani. Chimozimozi ngati ma mining activities apangisa kuti ku area yako kukhale fumbi, they have to put measures kuti fumbiro alisatani lisapange compromise moyo wa anthu, apange put my measures kaya azitirira ndi ma water bouncers, apange indicate frequency yotani daily kapena weekly depending the frequency and extent ya ma activities amene akupanga. Chimozimozi ngati mine ikhale kuti ikugwiritsa ntchito madzi, and after the processes akhale ndi madzi oti awonongeka, they should put in place my measures oti apange treat madzi aja before asanapangidwe dispose to the environment, akhale kuti they are treated, ali mu good quality. So ma plans amenewo ndi amene amakhala muchani mu ijati manena kuti ESMP, and I think ESMP anazayitulaso kale Vincent kuti ndi plan imene inakukhalapo and should be shared kwa ma stakeholders onse, kuyambira ku council, kuyambira kukafikira ku ma communities. Ayese akhale nayo, ainvestese, agwirizane nazo. Kupatula pankhani za chilengedwe, welfare, social welfare ya anthu, malamulo amakamba zoti chani. Ndi chimozimozi mu plan ijati mati SMP ayenera alongosole kuti ntchito za mine zizapanga affect bwanji umoyo wa anthu. Ngati pali ma damages, ngati pali mavuto, ayikeso ndondomeko. Okay, tipitirire. Ndi manena kuti plan ijati manena ya ESMP imakambaso nkhani za umoyo wa anthu kuti any activity ya mining isasokoneze chikhalidwe cha anthu. And social welfare ya munthu muli zinthu zambiri, muli maphunziro, muli umoyo, muli zachipembezo, muli culture, zonsezo zisasokonekere chifukwa cha chani cha ma mining activities. So number one, kunkhani ya za umoyo ndi ntchito ya mining company kuti umoyo wa anthu ogwira ntchito utetezedwe, because kumalo a mgodi kumakhala malisiki ambiri a ngozi or even sometimes death. So malamulo amanena kuti pakhale ndondomeko yoonetsetsa kuti umoyo wathu ukhale utetezedwe. So ngati mainiyo ili kutali ndi chipatala, payenera kuti pakhale ka clinic kapa mainipo, komanso munthu amene ali well trained kunkhani ya za umoyo, kuti pakachitika ngozi apereke chani, first aid. So tiyenera kuonetsetsa kuti ngati tili ndi mine imene ili kutali ndi chipatala, because tikakhaona chipatala chili pafupi, we can easily kale munthu amene wavulala ku chipatala, right? Koma ngati mine ili kutali, pakhale ka clinic kuti munthu akavulala athandizidwe mwachangu, komanso pakhale munthu woyenerera qualified health personnel woti azithandiza ma workers. Not only that, komanso pakhale readily available transport yoti munthu akavulala timutengere ku chipatala for referral. So osati kuti mine ili kutali koma olo even njinga yakabaza palibe, ndiye kuti tikuyika moyo wa anthu ogwira ntchito pa risk. Mwina tisanafike kuti munthu wapanga ngozi, choyambirira tinanena kuti tipange prevented. Anthu amene akugwira ntchito pa mgodi apasidwe zida zozitetezera kumatupi awo kuti asakumane ndi ngozi. So choyambirira ndi kupewa, because migodi ina umachita kulowa mkati mwa tunnel kumene kumakhala malisi osiyanasiyana, or even mines ambiri kunoko ndi akolo kumakhala mapoint ena timati macrusher kumene amaswera miyala, very easy kuti munthu ukumane ndi ngozi. So anthu amene amagwira mu risk areas or ntchito zimene zili ndi risk ya ngozi apasidwe zovala zozitetezera. Zovala zozitetezera pali ma examples anji. Yes? Helmet, eh? Helmet amene amagwira ntchito mwina kusi kwa tanero akhale ndi helmet. China ma gloves, lese amene akupanga crash miyala avale ma gloves m'manja. China ma gumboots, eh? Yeah. So choyambirira kuti tipewe ngozi, anthu ayenera apasidwe zovala zozitetezera, or even ma reflector kuti munthu muzionana patali kuti pali munthu. So choyambirira ndi kupewa. Ngati kupewa ma measures tayikapo koma zavuta takumana ndi ngozi, that's why tikuti tikhale ndi ka clinic pa mine area. Apart from that, malo a ntchito payenera kukhala madzi aukhondo, potable water. Kaya aphika azifuna kuti aphike mmemo akhale ndi madzi oyenerera, pakhale boho komanso madzi woti wapange treat kaya tisithirako ka water guard. So clean and potable water pa malo a ntchito kuti tipewe matenda. Koma timapeza ma mines ena madzi a mmemo amakatunga kuchani pa mtsinje, which is not safe. Apart from that, malo a ntchito pakhale toilet. Edi? pakhale ma toilet. Karonga is one of the district kumene timakhala ndi ma cases a cholera. And siona nyengo kuti ndi nthawi ya mvula kapena nthawi ya kupeza kuti every month of the year tikumakhala ndi malipota cholera cases. So because malo a ntchito timakumanapo anthu osiyana, wina kunyumba mwina kuli chifuwa akupita kukagwira ntchito ndi kuti anzake so they might be affected. So kuti tipewe zimenezo pakhale madzi aukhondo, pakhale toilet. And ma toilet pamalo a ntchito amati akhalepo angati? Awiri, minimum awiri. Ladies and gentlemen, kunyumba timatha kulowa toilet imodzi, koma kuntchito sizoyenera kuti tizilowa toilet imodzi amayi ndi abambo. Why? Kunyumba timatha kukalowa toilet imodzi ana, abambo, amayi, koma kuntchito timanena kuti ayi. Or even ku skulu amagawa kuti uku cha anyamata uku cha asikana, komanso tisamakhale moyandikana. Eti? Yeah, because tachokera mafamily osiyana and ndife anthu timasilirana. Yeah, so mukawayika toilet imodzi amayi azilowa momwemo, azibambo azilowaso momwemo. Amati sipo wamera mukhola ndiwo taphatikiza makoswe ndi mteza. Mawa mteza tiupezaso. So amanena kuti ma toilet akhale kosiyana, azimuna kwaokha, azibambo kwaokha. Kupewa ma gender based violence, nkhani zogwirirana. Yeah, komanso makamaka kwa azimayi amati kukhaleso ma sanitary facilities. Akakhala kuti nthawi yawo ija yakwana azitha kukasintha ku toilet kwawo. So munthu akamafuna kuti akasinthe toilet ndi imodzi amasukapo ngati. Yeah, kupatulapo paliso nkhani zokhuza kuteteza ana. Iyo ndi straightforward. Ana asamapezeke pamalo a ntchito. So ndi udindo wa aliyense eni yake amainzi ife amakomiti amene timayang'anira ndi aboma pamalo a ntchito pasamapezeke mwana. Mwana ayenera kupezeka kuti or even mwina azimayi amene ali ndi mabebes ma under 5 si ololedwa kuti azipita nawo ku ntchito ya mugodi. Imakhala kuti system ya respiration ya mwana sinafikepo, sinakhwime, akhoza kumana ndi fumbi kumene kuja. Vuto silipezeka lero lizapezeka mwina 10 years mwana akakula. So ngati ali ndi mwana under 5, mwanayo asapite naye ku mgodi, akhale ku nyumba. Chimozimozi pa nkhani yoteteza ana, we know kuti ku migodi anthu amalandirako kangachepe. Ena amalandira pa 2 weeks, ena amalandira pa mwezi. Anthu amene amagwira ku mugodi amakhalaso m'mamizi mwathu mmene timakhala. So chimozimozi pamene pamakhala risk kuti munthu akakhala ndi ndalama nthawi zina maganizo amatani amachuluka. Ndalama ija walandira ija amayamba kukanyengerera mwana wa sukulu. Ready? Ndichoncho tatopa ziti kuyankha. Yeah, so risk ina ndiyoti mamains atha kusokoneza maphunziro ana makamaka ana asikana. So pakhale measure olo pakhale ndondomeko yoti ana asikana tiwateteze kumchitidwe owasokoneza maphunziro. Tingapange bwanji mumasukulu muli mamaza group amatha kuwalangiza ana aja kuti asamaphunzitsidwe ndi anthu amene akubwera kwa iwo ndi ndalama kuti awanyengerere. So you can have mamaza group komanso sensitization ya anthu ogwira ntchito aja ndi zina zotero. Yeah, so mwina in short izi ndi zimene zimakhala mu plan imene amene ali ndi license yoti akapange mining ayenera kukhala nazo kuti asasokoneze za chilengedwe komanso chani umoyo wa anthu. Now izizi sizingachitike pazokha, payenera kuti pakhale adindo amene aziyang'anira ntchito zimenezi kuti aliyense amene akupanga ntchito za migodi akuzipanga follow. And ma structures alipo osiyana-siyana kuyambira pa ground pamene pali mine kukafikira ku Capitol Hill ku Lilongwe. Pali ma levels osiyana-siyana adindo amene akhoza kutengapo mbali kuonesesa kuti zimene tikukamba papa izizi zikusatidwa mu mines mwathu. Ndiyamba ndi pa level pamene pali mine, pa site pamene pali mine. Number 1, pa mine aliyense ogwira ntchito weka ayenera kuti akhale ndi contract asayinire. Pali contract ndi code of conduct, zinthu ziwiri. Contract imafotokoza za ma conditions apa ntchito, walembedwa ntchito ngati ndani, mwina neyo ndine carpenter, ndizigwira ma hours angati pa siku, ndizilandira zingati, ndizilandira litiro. That's a contract. Then pali code of conduct imene ali malamulo amene munthu azisatira pa malo a ntchito. Pa ntchito ndizibwera mwina 7 o'clock mamawa. Pa ntchito ndiye ndionesesa kuti ndavala zozitetezera ku ngozi. Pa ntchito ineyo sindizapanga nawo mchitidwe wa sexual harassment. So zonsezo zikhale mu code of conduct. Code of conduct mene ananenera nzanga vinyi iyeneranso kukhala mu language yoti munthu amene akusayinayo azimvesesa, aziziwa kuti chimene ndikusayina ndi chani. Asayinire apasidwe kope, company ikhaleso ndi chani ndi kope, because zimene zija zimakathandiza pasogolo zinthu zikasokonekera. Kupatula pa code of conduct ndi contract payeneranso kukhala makomiti osiyana-siyana. Muma malo ogwira ntchito timakhala ndi ma trade unions pakoza kukhala ka trade union, ka association ka anthu ogwira ntchito, kuti pakakhala china chake choti chasokonekera azikhala ndi voice, azikhala ndi njira yotulusira mavuto awo. Nthawi zina timatha kuitchulanso kuti komiti ya madando. Komiti ya chani ya madando, grievance redress management committee. Ngati contract ikunena kuti tizilandira pa 14 koma kufika pa 20 sitinalandire, ndi ntchito ya komiti kuti ilowererepo. So payenera kukhala komiti ya madando, not only kukhuzana ndi zapa ntchito komanso ndi mavuto amene tingakumane nawo surrounding community kumene kuli mine. komanso tilikale ndi ma mines committee, some of us amene tili muno. Kupatula pa makomiti, anthu ena amene angatithandize ndi mafumu, chifukwa nkhani zina zikavuta ndiye kuti timakafika kwa mfumu kuti atithandize nzeru. So that's why we also have our traditional leaders. So from community timafika so pa district level, naponso pali adindo amene amathandiza kupanga sort out ma issues ngati sakulongosoka kuma mines. Pa district pali adindo osiyana-siyana, palinso makomiti osiyana-siyana. Pali komiti ya madando nayonso pa district ilipo, District Grievance Redress Management Committee. Pa district ilipo, koma imayambira pa malo a ntchito. Then pa district tilinso ndi komiti yoyang'anira zachilengedwe, ma natural resources. The committee is District Environmental Subcommittee.
Maomba ndaganda. Let me recognize the presence of our OC, the head of programs. Mene mwati vangiso likumane bano. Mbike solo indiko kumanya fiare wangu walimuno na twesa. I will present a very short overview of what we get from our miners. Maybe before delving deeper into presentation, what's the purpose of the council collecting business premises licenses in this context? What I'll be presenting here is on business premises licenses. Why should the council collect fees as regards business premises licenses? Just 1 minute. One answer or two answers? Chaulinga jitu cha kutola koma fees from business operators. Development 1, 2. Okay, the other important aspect is about bringing sanity. Yeah, this is where maybe most of us, Timonangati, is peripheral. Komano, if we don't license business operators, it means even illegal business will be allowed by the end of the day. So let me just go straight into our outline. Then I'm here. Introduction. Development seeks to bring about quality improvement in the lives of citizenry, and its outcome is not merely in the economic sense, but closely related to the notion of quality of life. This has been borrowed from Rutan. What he had in mind was in the context of Malawi. The Malawi Constitution says it's the duty of the government to provide for its citizens. So from the Constitution, that's where we have several enactments. The local government act, the decentralization policy, and several acts of parliament. And this is where I will skip to. This is our reference framework as regards what I'll be talking about. When it comes to local revenue generation, as a council, what guides us, it's the Malawi Constitution as amended in 2024, Local Government Act as amended in 2017, Decentralization Policy of 1998,
the National Public Reforms Policy 2018, the PFM 2003 Treasury Instructions, the Local Authorities Accounting and Financial Management Manual 2020, and the Audit Act. Of course, the list is exhaustive with Taxation Act, the Public Procurement and Disposal of Assets Act, and etc. I've just cited a few. So, what's the, where are we coming from? Background. As a council, we've been struggling a lot in terms of local revenue mobilization. Let me take you back. I said it's the duty of the government to provide for its citizens. So I'm just giving a background and where we are. Okay. Did you get forward? Yeah, as she's doing Masenga. Yeah, there. Okay, good. So the background I was trying to highlight here is we have had challenges in terms of local revenue generation in the sense that prior to 2020 or 2021, we couldn't collect anything from miners apart from then Kairekera. Lotus came in, even despite that they were not operating, but Lotus has been paying since taking over from Kairekera. So we can appreciate that the rest, as I'll be giving the list, they have been defaulting despite operating their businesses in Karonga. I think this has already been done. Okay. Yeah, let's come to local revenue mobilization, specifically on the mining sector. The council has a great potential to derive cash resources from its rich natural resource base. I think when a TPD anagamba po that document imozi SEP socio-economic profile. So within SEP Finance, we are interested in which area we can tap how much. So the documents will find that they are the guidance or maybe the reference framework for the council when it comes to where do we get and what. So within the council, we have so many natural resources, and one of which is uranium and coal. Then we have sand and the others which I may not mention. So the council's mining sector is in 240. We have the multinational, which is the Lotus, and the indigenous miners, which fall in 3 categories. Forgive me for those who are interested, like Ibwanambeye, he's there. I think his interest should be here. That's where his interest is. Why is this young man bringing? Yeah, I'll explain why we were categorizing the signs and as miners as well. Yeah, so I have a list of miners as per records which we have in our department. However, I would go back to Wanawinga. You had, in one of the pictures, you had mentioned of a miner who is somewhere, is it Ngisi? You mentioned something like Ngisi. Chisi. What's that name? It's a coal miner. Yeah, now you can imagine the gaps which we have. Since starting the operations, they have never paid a coin to the council. And yet we are saying we want sanity. We want sanity. So it means they are illegally generating revenue in our council, and they are exploiting our community. It's as simple as that. Usually ndima yankula ndibwa na usi maybe sangati undizi wa kumano with the officers. We had a challenge at that border. We closed the shop, then the guy was resisting. Not the other one, but the recent one. We didn't come to your office. So these are some of the examples which we have. People cashing where they are not supposed to cash. So please, for those who have an updated list, it's our plea through one DC representative. You need those names. We have to descend to wherever they are. Yeah, so as regards revenue, this is my main task. I'll take you back. I said we are guided by legal provisions. For local authorities, I said the Constitution stands on top. Then we have the Local Government Act, the Decentralization Policy. In that order, we go. So the Local Government Act specifies what the chair of the council, including his lieutenant or their lieutenant, who is the district commissioner, what they are supposed to generate. But in the context of generation, the Local Government Act says the council shall come or shall produce bylaws. So this is where we are. In one of those days, we came with these bylaws that any coal miner will be paying 2.5. 2022-2023, we were around 3.5. They came, negotiated, just because we are coming from a background where the economy was hit by COVID-19. So operations had taken a nosedive. We heeded to their call. We flexed downwards to 2.5 million. And this is what we have been charging, if you can see, throughout the years. And then we have the collections there. Except for a multinational miner who is liable to pay 5 million. Indigenous, if they are coal miners, it's 2.5. If they are sand miners, this is where maybe we'll come and talk about with my colleague there. It's 500,000 per year. So the charges which we see here, they are per year. Now, just appreciate how clever these guys are. 2.5, it's only Kasikizi who has been faithful, but the rest have been defaulting to the extent that they are still owing us 10.6 million for the 2023-2024, 12,750,000, 2024-2025, 2025-2026. I wouldn't comfortably say that they are owing us because we are still. But when it comes to financial management, the golden rule is pay before you operate. So these people are supposed to pay us on 31st March every year. Our financial year starts on 1st April and ends on 31st. So before you step your foot and open the door of your business on 1st April, you should have in mind that I settled the business license with the council yesterday. Because for us, we don't mind where they subscribe to. Like in this case, the miners, they pay to Ministry of Trade. And they claim that what they pay is so heavy. But we are not interested with what they pay to Ministry of Trade. We are interested with sanity in our district. That's why we say, at least, can you contribute a little something to the council? Then what are the strategies that we used in generating revenue, especially with the mining sector? We have one document, which is a 5-year plan, the Local Revenue Enhancement Strategic Plan. It will profile where we'll get a business operator, what we have to get from them, and how we're going to get from them. Then we update our business register. I was just talking of the gaps. I have a list, and yet Banawinga is mentioning the names which I even don't have. Then recruited revenue collectors, then we intensify the mobilization through issuance of invoices and the door-to-door campaigns. But these are twofold as well. It's either the revenue collectors, where we face resistance, we combine with the owners of the councils who are the councillors. So those are the strategies which we usually employ in mobilization of resources. Success stories, currently, though not with comfort, 100%, no, but we are able to collect from miners. We have profiled much as there are gaps, but they are cooperating. And the other one is, previously we used to have resistance, but with sensitization and the dialogue, at least they are able to pay without much resistance. Then the council has available database for our miners. Suffice to say that we have challenges amidst the successes. As we saw from the table where I projected the collections, most miners are still struggling to pay their licenses. I may cite, for example, last year, it's only Kasikizi and the Lotus who paid in full, but the rest, they paid in the range of 1 million to 1.5. Then the other challenge is we are struggling to recover what is we are still being owed. Second bullet, I think it's still answering the first one. If someone struggles to pay the current, then it's obvious that the debt as well want to be paid. But as a council, we are committed. We have planned that we engage all miners. We call them to a roundtable meeting, then map the way forward. Otherwise, starting 2025, 2026, 2027 is a risk closure. So this is the communication which we send to all miners. Then difficulties in profiling miners, especially the sand and quarry miners. Director of program, especially where we want to be helped much is the Gulu, last sand. For those who follow with interest what happens in your local authorities, it's last year where Lilongwe City Council enacted a bylaw which says that any transporter found ferrying sand to whichever destination, they face arrest. We don't have here. If we look at the level of degradation that is happening around, you know, I come from Masoko. We used to have Timati Matete. But yeah, I remember when I went there around 1992 in Ndilimwana, we were told, usapite uliweka kunsinje. Not that ukozo kugamira, I was an expert, and I'm still an expert in terms of swimming. Omano, it was bushy. For those who have been around Masoko, you couldn't move work. We had in torch all over. We had the Intete all over. But this time around, it's bare ground. Why? Timabera soko mwego, kumasoko kumwego kumakatenga nchenga. So I wish maybe if we can be helped with our colleagues. This other time maybe we just want to sensitize and call everybody and enact a bylaw that anyone who is found transporting. Ali Rongo City Council, what they have done is we need to understand they are not targeting minor. They are targeting transporter. Alienso opanga transport. It means akamvira awatengeti kupita kwa mainako. That's why they are interested, because they know for sure microphone mugaite sindiangura. Amene mwampeza nazo pansewe uvire ni akutenge ni muvire kumene akupanga mainiko, because they have to reveal andakagula kwako. So I think maybe I just took advantage of the gathering and maybe because of the theme and the head of the meeting to talk about the evils of sand mining. Otherwise, whoever can have the data, they may assist us. We profile them, we start charging them, but that will be after having our bylaws. So as a council, we remain committed to ensuring that business operators are protected and recognized at district, national and international scene, and that financial resources that flow into the district are put to the optimum use, and that value for money in delivery of services to the citizenry is effectively and efficiently achieved. This should be done through the adoption of systems and procedures to promote a conducive environment.
And this is the area which, as a team here, as we've been interacting, I'll be also happy to hear, to learn, even from government, put the design here mining here, Piaka Irekera Pagari Panopa. Tonight's in touch.